Bo Nix is so bad, dude. Sean looked good. Sean was 28 for 32. I mean, he wasn't very good. Like every pass.
QB1.
He where's his Heisman odds are like plus 7,500, which is like 14th right now. Welcome to another episode of Boom or Bust, the draft show. Max Chadwick alongside Tate, Sigworth, and Nick Merriam. So we did it last week. Another video this week. Biggest takeaways from week 3 of college football and most of week 2 of the NFL. It's actually halftime of the Monday Night Football game where the Lions, PJ's Lions, 3-point lead over the Green Bay Packers and reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers. So we'll see about that one. Before we start the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Of course, be sure to follow our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Boom or Bust Draft. We're on YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts. Check out the merch store below. And please continue supporting us because support for us is charged now right there. Wow. That Lawnmower 4.0, baby, from Manscaped. Do you like playing with balls? No, I'm not talking about footballs. I mean your balls. Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, want you to shave your pubes with the Tom Brady of ball trimmers, the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Only the GOAT technology for the greatest balls of all time. When you're going towards the end zone, make sure you use the right tools for the job and choose Manscaped. 2,003 men worldwide trust them. So join the movement with our exclusive offer by using the code BOOM or BUST. That is BOOM or BUST, all caps, no spaces, at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the code BOOM or BUST. Take your ball defense to the promised land with Manscaped. So this is the GOAT ball trimmer. I don't know if you guys saw the stat about the GOAT in football, Tom Brady. He needs 13 more touchdown passes to have more touchdown passes in his 40s than he did in his 20s, which I think is a pretty wild stat for Tom Brady. But listen, his draft was 20 years ago, okay? So we're not talking about him. We're talking about prospects right here, right now, and rookies in the NFL right here, right now. And where I want to start, guys, I know we talked a little bit earlier, and we're like, man, let's not do a QB1 video because who the hell knows what it looks like. But I just want to get your general thoughts, and Tate, we'll start with you. What are your general feelings about this QB class, and more specifically, who's leading the 2022 QB1 class?
General thoughts are it's a mess. I think that is going to be echoed throughout the 3 of our takes. Right now, probably QB1 is Matt Corral.
Look at you two calling it. Good on you.
Yes.
Too. I'll shout you guys out when you deserve it. You two called it.
I have been on the Matt Corral train for over a year now, I think, and he is balling out. Spencer Rattler, my main thing in the Spencer Rattler video we did was just he's got to level the narrative. He just throws stupid picks. He doesn't look good enough. If you're going to be the number 1 quarterback in this draft class, granted it may be a weak quarterback class, you got to be really good, and he just hasn't looked that way. Sam Howell has had 2 pretty good games after being awful against Virginia Tech in week 1. So that's, nice to see. Maybe he ends up taking the mantle, but again, it's a lot of play action. Is he kind of scheme dependent? And then Malik Willis, another big name. I don't think his numbers are good enough. He's putting up great throws here and there, some really nice throws on tape. So you got to look past the numbers for him. And then Carson Strong, also a sneaky name in this class. But right now, man, it is a mess, just a mess.
Yeah, Strong's a sneaky one. We thought Ritter looked kind of good at the beginning of the year, but this game against Indiana this past week wasn't excellent. He's done better. I think he's lifted his draft status, but in the first round, I don't think is in the cards for him right now. Howell and Willis, to me, have some question marks right now. They're probably in the middle of the first round just because they're not playing to a place right now where you expect those guys last year, where it's they could immediately impact an offense in the NFL. They need development. And Howell, the thing about his talent getting worse and him not playing as well is concerning. And then Rattler, we talked about him still throwing those bad balls at times. For me, the thing is he just looks kind of the same as last year. And I think a lot of times when you get these top prospects, they look better. Kyle Hamilton looks better this year, for example. I don't know that Rattler looks better this year than he did last year, whereas Matt Corral, I think, has taken that next step as a passer and some of the things I wanted to see from him. And for me right now, he is QB1. He hasn't played a bad game yet, and that's really the main thing for me. But yeah, for now, question marks for the other guys. Matt Corral is what I wanted and what we saw last year, and what I think he is going to be as a QB prospect is exactly what he has been.
Right, and I think you guys said it. Like it's just been a mess, and I think the only thing I'll say, because I was going into the year, I had Spencer Rattler QB1, and I really liked him. Everyone is kind of throwing him out right now. Everyone's like, screw Rattler. All right, who's next? Carson Strong, Malik Willis, Matt Corral. Who's next? I'm kind of like still holding the fort right now. I'm just listen. He started off slow last year. A lot of people thought he was terrible last year. Like first 3 games of the year, like wow, this is a terrible quarterback for Oklahoma. After you have Baker, then Kyler, then Jalen Hurts, and then he was great the rest of the year. So I'm holding it down right now. Listen, I'm not going to deny though he has been good, not great, and the competition has been not good at all. So, which is very, very alarming. You play Tulane and then Western Carolina and then a bad Nebraska team. And really, his short intermediate has been good. His deep ball, which has been his strength, is not there right now. And you haven't seen it from Spencer Rattler. Howell looked really good as a runner. All of a sudden, he's a great dual threat quarterback, but his warts in the passing game right now, maybe without his weapons. Corral, big thing with him. He's looked amazing. I think he's looked the best out of all the top quarterback prospects, but will it hold? Because you always get that weird Matt Corral game where it's a 6 interceptions. So I'm still kind of I'm holding out. I look, if Corral keeps doing this and everyone else keeps doing it, I think Matt Corral easy QB1. But
the big test for Matt Corral is October 2nd at 3:30 p.m. He's going to play the number 1 team in the country in Alabama. That is like,
there it is.
Get on the couch and watch that frigging game, because that's the game that honestly could make or break the quarterback class this year in terms of who is QB1. If he comes out and he balls out, like I don't have any questions. I really have no questions.
Tate, for that October 2nd matchup graphic that we post, follow us again on Boomer Bust Twitter and Instagram. For that matchup graphic, it should just be Matt Corral is the only player on Ole Miss. That is literally it, because that is
all you gotta watch.
That is literally going to be the make or break game. Malik Willis looked improved. Carson Strong has looked good. The guy who I've been hyping up so much, Will Levis, almost lost to Chattanooga. It wasn't a great game for my guy, Will Levis. So the guy I was saying maybe could be that Zach Wilson, Joe Burrow. Pretty tough game. But
Grayson McCall? Where's the Grayson McCall
good,
Max?
You know,
McCall's been good. It's the thing. So this is a QB1 discussion. McCall just isn't going to play enough competition.
No, he's not going to be there.
But I like Grayson McCall. He's still my guy. He's still my king. So, Nick, you kind of hit on it for a little bit. The one guy who's looked improved is Kyle Hamilton, who, by the way, had another interception against Purdue this past week. So, Kyle Hamilton now, I think, 3 picks on the year. Should have had 4 because he got a BS call against Toledo. Plus 2,500 to win the Heisman right now, which I think in a weird year for quarterbacks, maybe a safety takes it home. Nick, is Kyle Hamilton, though, is he your number 1 player overall in this draft with such a messy quarterback class?
Yeah, I mean, he has been the most impressive player in the country right now. And I really think PJ, amazingly, kind of had this one, right? He to me right now had the least amount of question marks by any prospect. I don't know that he's number 1 for me right now. I haven't really rearranged my board in a while. I don't like not having quarterbacks number 1. Like, yeah. So it's kind of like the question I would still have is I know we saw a very limited amount of Kayvon Thibodeau. But the amount we saw I thought was very impressive, and I know it was kind of like a dissenter on that earlier this offseason, but I did like what I saw from him early, and if we get more of that and he's really good, he'll be in that discussion. But Stingley's been like good, not great, you know. Liao's been good, but I don't think he has the capabilities to be a number 1 prospect. I think right now Kyle Hamilton, if I were to set up my board right now, it's probably him. I'd have to think about. I might have. As we were talking earlier, I might have Matt Corral number 1. I mean, just because he's the number 1 quarterback. But I think it's between those 3: Hamilton, Kayvon, and Corral going forwards, unless we see some other quarterback really boost themselves.
I pretty much agree with everything Nick just said. I don't think Stingley has separated himself enough to be the first player on the board. Can I put a safety 1 over every other position on the football field? I don't know. We're going to have to find out. Kyle Hamilton is really good, and if there's ever a safety that's going to do it, and especially like a weaker, messier quarterback class too, he would be the guy to do it. I agree. Thibodeau is a guy to watch. I don't know his injury status, but that 1 half of football we pretty much saw him play so far this year. He looked very good, like Nick said. Stingley, like I mentioned, has been fine. Rattler, Howell are kind of in this weird period, and then Matt Corral is lurking in the background. So I don't know if he's number one on the board, but he's certainly like getting higher every week.
Yeah, it's definitely getting there, man. Because Kyle Hamilton, and like you guys said, it's such a messy class, and he's such an amazing safety.
I just won my fantasy game. Let's go.
Oh, nice.
I needed 10 points from Robert Tonyan. Let's go.
Love that. Love that. But yeah, you guys mentioned Stingley, that UCLA game. He had a couple missed tackles that were like, man, that was bad. And he got beat on a touchdown too. Against Central Michigan, though, he looked really good. He had that forced fumble that we tweeted out, I remember. And then a couple other tackles too. He actually looked good as a tackler. So maybe Stingley, I think the big thing with Stingley is just not getting thrown at. So you're just like, you don't see him make any plays, whereas Kyle Hamilton's kind of rolling around the field making plays. So I'm not going to, the Stingley panic button's not being pressed yet. I still think he's a phenomenal prospect. But Kyle Hamilton, man, is looking incredible. And I do think he's the best player in the country right now. And if there's no quarterback that separates themselves, there might be a team like maybe the Jets, who don't look great right now, who's like, man, we got our quarterback in Zach Wilson, at least they think right now. It was
4 interceptions.
We'll talk about that game in a little bit. But yeah, maybe they say, man, this is the year to take a safety number one, which we would love as a analytics podcast here because everyone hates safeties. But yeah, like I said, Kyle Hamilton might be that guy.
The other sneaky one is Evan Neal, I think.
Yes, good take. Evan Neal, especially in Alabama too. You know how those people love Evan Neal playing in the national championship or playoff. Yeah,
he's a tackle, and like we've seen tackles go number one, and like I don't know if you can get like a bet on that right now. That's interesting because I could very well see a scenario where someone is just like, oh well, there's no quarterback, so just take a tackle,
So do you guys have any other college football? I have a couple more others if you want to get to. But any other like pressing takes from college football or NFL rookies?
I mean, I know we said that Stingley panic button is not being pressed, and I somewhat agree with it. But I mean, also at the same time, do we want to throw it out there? Like Kyer Elam played very well against Alabama, like very well against Alabama.
Really good against Alabama. I like that.
Had that bogus DPI called on him. 6 targets, 1 catch allowed. Pretty sure 2 pass breakups as well. Like he looked really good.
Called back too, right? Didn't you have a pick in that game too that they called back on a penalty?
Oh, I think that may be correct.
Yeah, I think someone else had PI and he caught it. But yeah, still.
I think that is correct. Yeah, and then Stingley, I mean, he hasn't been bad, but he isn't like dominating. He's not taking, I guess, maybe the step up that we maybe want to see from him. Granted, it might just not be getting thrown at that much. I need to grind the LSU tape, I think.
Might not be that good.
Sauce Gardner also been playing well, like low key. So I don't know. Is CB1 up for grabs right now?
What's the Stingley wide receiver outlook at?
I didn't see anything.
I don't think he's played any.
I actually totally forgot about that. I don't think he's doing it yet.
I looked on like Saturday. I don't think he's had any snaps at wide receiver yet.
That actually is so funny. Yeah, I have not seen I have not seen a single thing from Stingley. So I'm actually just gonna read off real quick. Current 2022 draft, number 1 pick odds. Rattler still first plus 225. Howell second plus 300. Thibodeau third plus 450. Malik Willis fourth plus 750, and then Matt Corral, JT Daniels, and Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy. DraftKings. DraftKings got to watch Boomer Bust the Draft Show a little bit more because I don't know about Brock Purdy up there. But Stingley's up there. Stingley's got better odds. Kyle Hamilton for number 1 pick plus 2,500. You're getting 25 to 1 odds for Kyle Hamilton first overall pick. Don't hate that. Below Derek King, by the way. And Grayson McCall.
Of course.
And Jane Daniels, of course, too.
Everyone knows that Derek King.
These things need to get refreshed. They need
this is a top. They have been refreshing it weekly, so I'm guessing this is what they have.
Lord.
Carson Strong plus 3,500 too. So if you're a fan of money, I don't hate 35 to 1 odds for Carson Strong.
Put a singular dollar on that.
Someone is going. I feel like I've said this. I don't know if I've like exactly said this on this podcast, but someone is going to fall in love with a quarterback in this draft that no one expects and take them really high, and we're going to be like, "Wow, I don't know."
Yeah,
and that could happen.
And Carson Strong could be like, "I like Carson Strong," but like there are people who love him, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I like him. One guy I want to talk about. My guy, Micah Parsons, edge 1 in 2021. Would he have been edge 1? He looked amazing against the Chargers.
Was Storm Norton, to be fair, but
playing against a garbage tackle.
Yeah, he did go against Storm Norton. That's a good point, but still, Parsons looked really good, man. He looked really good.
great on the Cowboys for like actually moving him to edge, because I think most teams like just wouldn't even try that. Like I just think that was so brilliant that they actually had the wherewithal to be like, all right, let's move him to edge and just use our linebacker depth to our advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Nick, your guy, Rondale Moore.
He's popping off. He's the leading rookie in receiving yards right now, probably leading rookie in scrimmage yards, I believe, because he's also been kick returning and doing all right at that. Big touchdown this week. Had a little catch. Made a couple missed tackles for no reason. Still got out of bounds before time ran out to allow them to kick a long field goal. Stud, absolute stud. Should have been a first-round pick. Just look, he's the second best receiver on that team already, and the offense is literally working because all the stupid stuff they did with Larry Fitzgerald this last year. Now they have a guy who just makes everyone miss in space and also is faster. It's just, it's great. I love it.
I have nothing to add to that. Rondale Moore's been excellent.
He's been pretty good.
Popping off.
I'm looking at this college football schedule for this upcoming weekend, guys. Tate, we're gonna have some difficulty with this matchup graphic, man. This is gonna be a pretty brutal.
That's a Friday Tate issue. Let's not talk about that right now.
We want to preview the slate a little bit. We can do that.
Yeah, we can. I'm looking. So there's only a couple ranked matchups on the slate. So you got Notre Dame against Wisconsin, which will be fun. So that'll be a big game for Kyle Hamilton. And then you have Texas A&M against Arkansas is the other ranked matchup. Those are the only two ranked matchups of the week so far.
Treylon Burks.
Treylon Burks going against not really going against DeMarvin Leal, but same side.
That was interesting. A little interesting one because we know we talked about Rattler. I'm low-key West Virginia fan here. And they are playing West Virginia this week, and West Virginia is not that good this year. But in terms of the Big 12, they play a different style of defense, and they do tend to give some teams a hard time. So this has the potential to be either a Rattler proves a lot here, or he could fall flat on his face. I don't think Oklahoma's going to lose this game, but if they struggle to score, it won't look good for Rattler's outlook.
Yeah, not at all.
And I'd put him on alert there. That's a game that I'll be looking closely at for him. I think it'll tell us a lot. We also got our guy Jake Haener in Fresno State is finally in the top 25.
He just got. Do you want to talk about him? Jake Haener. Yeah, Jake Haener's look good. I don't think he's got the arm, or he's really skinny too. One guy.
Is he also alive? I haven't seen any updates on his medical status.
Oh right, he got crushed. I forgot about that.
He got nailed.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
They're still 30.5-point favorites this week, so I would think he's like all right, but I don't know.
One guy who I wanted to throw out there, who PFF tweeted out, is one of the highest grades in the country, none other than Talia Tagovailoa, who, by the way, is draft eligible for Maryland. I don't know. I think he's got kind of the same arm that his brother has. Tate, he throws with his right hand. So that's. I
know. So I'm going to like him a lot more than I like his brother.
But he's looked good, man. Him and the Virginia quarterback, whose name is
Brennan Armstrong.
Brennan Armstrong.
He throws with the wrong hand.
He throws with the wrong hand. He also has like the longest delivery I think I've ever seen a quarter. He's like a Tim Tebow-esque delivery.
Cannot beat Michael Penix.
Michael Penix. Yeah, it's been a pretty brutal, like we said, it's been a pretty brutal quarterback class.
Looking at these guys in Virginia and Maryland, that's how bad it is. Kentucky, Will Levis, it's really getting bad. We're just looking at schools. You're like, I don't know,
Brennan Armstrong. No, Brennan Armstrong's not having QB1, but man, Talia could be emerging in that class. I don't know if he's got the
I think Talia's going to go back, and next year he could be a very interesting name.
Yeah, JT Daniels, I still like-ish. He's looked pretty good so far, so maybe. Man, I don't know, man. This quarterback class is gonna be a mess.
This class is a mess.
This whole class, even the defensive class, where it's like, man, Stingley's looked decent. Thibodeau has been hurt.
The linebackers,
last year at this time, we were doing our top 10 mocks every week, and I don't know if we're not doing this right now because we're just lazy, but I feel like we're not doing them because it's actually just really hard. I don't know what I would do right now if I had to do a top 10 mock. I really don't know.
We should start doing those again. I think it would be hilarious to look back on near draft time because I'm sure this is going to be
completely different.
Completely different, especially in the quarterback class. But listen, man, that's what we got for our college football week 3, NFL week 2 recap and preview of the next week. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Comment what your big takeaways are. Who do you got at QB1 right now? It is a mess, and a whole bunch of names have a realistic shot at it. So comment what you think about this quarterback class and what do you think about the class in general. What video wants to do next. Follow our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Boom or Bust Draft. Leave a review in our podcast. Check out the website below. Hit our merch store, of course. Go to manscaped.com and use the promo code Boom or Bust for 20% off and free shipping. So for Tate Sigworth and Nick Merriam, I'm Max Chadwick. Have a great night.